Okay, welcome to the Newmarket Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting for Monday, August 22nd, 2016. And our first agenda item, as always, is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our next item is review and approval of the meeting minutes of the meeting of March 28th, 2016.
Make a motion to accept as transmitted.
Second.
I looked at them real quick.
Any comments, amendments, changes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous. And now, I don't have an agenda, but we only have one application before us, and Wayne, you're gonna,
I am going to recuse myself for them.
okay? Thank you very much. Mr. Rose is recusing himself. He's allowed to participate to the extent he chooses to do so, as any other member of the public has the right to do. And we have before us an application for a variance. The applicant is Jane Rosa. The property owners are Paul Rosa Jr. and Sally Ann Rosa. The property is at 340, I believe, Wadley Falls Road. And it's an application basically for a variance from the frontage ordinance, which is 3.01. The property is tax map R5, lot 81 in the R1 zone. And the applicant proposes to subdivide a residential lot of approximately 4 acres, which would have road frontage of 37.85 feet, where frontage of 200 feet is required. The new lot will share the existing driveway for lot 82, which is owned by Wayne Rosa and Janice Rosa. The remaining land will retain separate road frontage of 50 feet. Oh, there's the notice. I think I basically captured
did a good job,
the
yeah.
information that's in there.
Yeah.
And Mr. Schulte?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Jim Schulte. I'm an attorney from Dover, and I'm here to ask that you postpone the hearing on this. When we submitted the application, because the existing lot of 45 acres is a non-conforming lot, it does not have 200 feet of frontage currently. Because we are proposing to remove about 37 feet of frontage, that will in some ways increase the nonconformity, so we need to ask for a second variance for that, which I did not include in the application. So I will submit an amended application. We'll suggest that you send out, renotice the hearing, and I ask that you postpone this for a few weeks until we can get back in, and then we'll have a hearing on both matters. They are, of course, intertwined, but we do need to get the paperwork correct.
Okay.
So,
And that makes sense. We don't like to do things piecemeal. It makes sense to do them, to
no,
do both
absolutely.
together.
I apologize for bringing you guys out tonight when we did not have to do that, so.
That's okay. Can we check calendars? Because we have to, if we're going to continue, we're going to do it to a date certain. Want to make sure that we have enough time to get the notices out and that you're satisfied that you have your application complete how you like it.
I can have it in by the end of this week for sure, so.
Okay. So I guess we're looking at either the 12th or the 19th.
Either day is open with me, so.
Yep, either one's fine with me.
Steve?
Yep, I can do both.
Okay, and we're going to need at least either James to be here or another alternate. We'd like to, we need 5.
And Richie is still a standing alternate.
So reach out to James, because he's a full-time member. And if
Just make sure
if he's not available, then we'll ask Mr. Shelton to step in. So, shall we call it the 12th?
Very good.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to continue the application till September 12th, 2016 at 7 PM.
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
So So the motion is to continue the current application till September 12th, 2016, and Sue will check on the availability of the room. We'll assume that it's here unless something comes up differently, and then the notices will be redone.
It will probably be here. I've been told the Budget Committee is meeting downstairs this year in
Okay.
the auditorium as opposed to upstairs, so.
Just assume that it's going to be here until we hear it, and then
I'll
the
have
formal
Sue
notice will go
confirm
out.
everything with everyone.
Okay.
Okay.
If there's anything further, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any new or old business to come before the board at this time?
You know, I really can't hear, so I can't see what's going on. This is new to me. I'll watch it on television.
Wayne, you're welcome to rejoin us at this point. You care to?
Do we want to discuss the,
Court
The
decision.
court's decision?
yeah,
Yeah, what, for the people at home and watching, what Mr. Daigle is referring to is we had an appeal of one of our decisions by Waterways Realty. It was ultimately affirmed, our decision was affirmed by the Superior Court, but the court's decision had some comments, made some observations that we have taken on board, and we're just going to discuss briefly what those comments were and what we think they signify and mean, if anything, in terms of the way we handled the application. So, Bob?
yeah, I, see, they had a comment in there that we'd made a motion to deny because it didn't hold to the spirit of the ordinance. And basically, he indicated it was a moot point after the fact, but I was just trying to figure out a little bit more of the logic about what that was. Where am I?
Yeah, I think what the court did, the court found that we made a mistake. The mistake didn't have an impact on the outcome of the application. But the mistake that we made was, you remember that there were 3 different variances applied for, and we granted one of them to make the current existing conditions on the property conforming. We granted a variance so that
That's what it
basically
is,
the
yeah.
4 residential units that are there now would be allowed to continue, although technically it was non-conforming at the time.
Correct.
And once we cleaned up that issue, we kind of went on and considered that when we were debating the other variances, that there was still a non-conforming condition on the property. And the court said, no, when you addressed that first variance, you cleaned up that issue. So you really shouldn't have treated it as any longer as a non-conforming use.
We're using a double negative.
We were using a double negative, basically. It didn't change the outcome, but it was an error in our reasoning, in our analysis of it, that the court pointed out. So we discussed it. I discussed it with the attorney and transmitted to all you guys what the attorney thought of it, so we would have that benefit. So I don't think it's, I think it's just a little bit of inattention, a little bit of a slip on our part, but it didn't have any impact on the outcome of the application at the end of the day.
But we proved the hard one, the hardship one, so. we were
Right.
able-
Right, and I think the court was sympathetic to the way we reviewed the spirit of the ordinance piece of it too, because there was going to be increased traffic, there was going to be, all those things were going to happen. So I think the court found that our reasoning on that was correct. It's just we made what I consider to be a technical error in the way we went about analyzing it. So it's good to know, and it's certainly, and I was very appreciative that everybody really read it and wanted to know immediately why the court was saying we had done something in error,
No.
which is obviously gets all of our attention because we work very hard at this job, but at the end of the day, I think we reached the right decision for the right reasons.
I noticed that it didn't take long for the property to go on the market again.
The property was on the
I think it
market
was on
while
the
the appeal
market,
was still
yeah.
pending.
Has it moved?
I don't know.
I think the sign is still up there, but
Yeah, the for sale sign went up while the appeal was still pending. And I brought that to our attorney's attention to the extent that he thought it might be relevant to share with the court. But I suspect that they saw the writing on the wall from the outset.
well, hopefully their attorneys looked at it and said,
They didn't appeal it to the Supreme Court. That was their next step if they chose to do so, but that time has expired and they haven't done that.
Right. There's been no response.
Yeah. So,
good. Well, thanks for clarifying that for me, Chris. Thank you.
yeah, I hope that clarifies things. I should have been maybe a little bit sharper and picked up on that issue while we were debating it, but I just didn't. So. Any other new or old business to come before the board at this time? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.